What is up, everybody? Isaac here with Civil Engineering Academy. Thanks for joining me today. Excited about today's podcast episode. Thanks for liking and subscribing this stuff. We always appreciate that. It always goes a long ways in our small civil engineering community of friends. So appreciate you doing that. But I have a special guest I bring on. His name is Hadi Al Azzawi. He actually came here from Iraq and got his master's degree, lives up in Washington, and was able to pass his FE. He struggled with his PE exam and passed it after 6 attempts. And so he wanted to talk about his journey in taking the PE exam. And really, there's a ton of tips in here for people that are international that are wanting to take their PE exam. Really, to some tips he's got about exercise, to tips about writing out the problem to help you better understand it if English is not your first language. So there's just a ton of great tips in here that Hadi shares. And really, I applaud him for passing and keeping with it. It's a huge milestone to pass this exam after so many attempts, and totally understandable if you're feeling down about it. But he was able to find some great resources, including ours at Civil Engineering Academy. If you need help on your journey, definitely check us out at civilengineeringacademy.com. We've got exams and courses and all that good stuff. And if you just want to talk to me, shoot me an email, Isaac at civilengineeringacademy.com. Always happy to chat with you as well. So I'm going to shut up. Let me get to my interview with Hadi. We had a couple connection issues. I hope it doesn't come across that way. That was my fault, but we hopefully got it sorted out. But excited about this episode. Let's get to it. My interview with Hadi about taking the Water Resources PE exam 6 times and the tips he has for anybody taking this exam. See you there in a minute. All right, we are rocking and rolling. Hadi, thank you for joining me today on the Civil Engineering Academy podcast. Appreciate you doing this with me.
Anytime. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, Isaac.
Yeah, this is going to be great. It's been a struggle to kind of get aligned with our schedules. I've been doing a little traveling and such, but we're here now. I'm excited to hear all the tips you've got because we want to dive into a lot of good stuff about taking exams. But before we get into that, I would love for you to just describe you, like where you came from, what's been your journey into the world of civil engineering, and maybe touch on like when you took FE and PE, how that mixed into your career.
Absolutely. So my name is Hadi Al Azzawi. I'm a civil engineer. I got my bachelor in highway and transportation back from Iraq. I came to the States 2009. The first thing I did is I work as an engineer. Some background before that is we had the war back home. So I graduated and finding a job was pretty challenging. Ended up working with an American company, and my first manager was from the U.S. Navy. And when he talks, he says, do you guys have your PE? And it's like, what is that? Again, different culture, different stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the beginning, there you graduate and there's more to it. It's pretty different than back home. I think back home, the more projects you do, the more you get recognized and on. Go ahead.
I was just curious, but is back home, what is recognized? Is it the PEng or is there a different certification?
No. I think when I graduated, it was in that 2004 is when I graduated. And that was a very, let's say, it's a war zone area. And so no one knows what's going on. We graduated, we did have our ID that says civil engineers. But we have 3 major universities. Each university teach the same, let's say, syllabus. But when you graduate, you'll be I can be a civil engineer, but I can do only highway and transportation. And that was a new branch of civil engineering because the head in Iraq, and I think they are doing it right now, they want to do bridges and get rid of the old traffic lights because Baghdad was expanding. So we were the first bunch of highway and transportation. Our doctors, instructors, most of them has Harvard and all these American and British universities. And they were speaking totally different language, like a bridge design and traffic broadcasting. So really, you couldn't do much from There's no books, there's no references. But there's a common thing with civil engineers. We have, it's funny, they call the civil engineer. And again, that's one of the transitions. You come to the state, civil engineering is 5 branches, which is, geotechnical transportation. So back home, they don't recognize me as a civil engineer. And I'm like, well, you are doing most of what these guys doing. There's a lot of common grounds between us. Again, it's part of the journey, part of the learning. Yeah, so I came here 2009. I went back and I was like, okay, I want to be an engineer. Went to WSU. It's been a struggle getting all my education verified. Went ahead and I took masters. Back of my mind, masters is the best degree. It's higher education. And there was this guy's like, who's paying for your master? I was like, I'm paying for him. I was like, why don't you take FE? It's like, what is these? What's FE stand for? What's PE stand for? Anyhow, so got my master's degree, and I jumped into work. It's been a journey, a lot of struggle, a lot of challenges, and you can tell English is not my first language. So the disadvantage I have is I have to take probably another minutes to understand what they want. Especially,
That makes sense.
The PE guys tend to play with, like, it's a trick. It's like, really, it's a tricky question. So what I did, and I think for any non-natives or people who came and want to do it, I write the question. Even if it's a PDF, I write the question and then solve it. So, like, I practice writing and solving. I have no problem other things, but it's the time. If NCEs give me 15 hours, I will pass the exam. I can tell you, but I cannot keep up. It's so I'm losing. You show a lot of techniques, 6 minutes. Try to target 6 minutes. There's some question take probably 30 seconds in the exam, by the way. But there's these questions that
Right.
really, like, it's reading in between, optimize, 24/7 operation. It's like, what does that mean? And I see that
That
in the
makes
last
sense.
exam. Last exam, there were plenty of 24/7 operation. What does that mean exactly? Like, why did they mention that? And when you see a good one was 2 clarifier, supplying waste, treating water, and what would be the hydraulic loading rate for this plant, assuming 24/7 operation. I'm like, and the trick, you click the number. Oh, this is for 1, and D is for 2. Like, why are you doing this? Again, this is five tries, so I know. I was like, okay, I get the trick. And I was like, yeah, it's that was pretty helpful. You have one video, you were walking in it, and he said, I advise walking, and I did that. I did not do that in all the exams. Actually, the day before the exam, we had a gym. I went to the gym and stayed in the sauna steam. I just disconnected from anything, 3 kids, a wife, everybody was like, it's the 5th time, we're not going on the vacation, we're not doing this. And I see all this, but my wife been a big support for me. She understood the struggle. She knows, like, what to be a PE. And again, it's a learning experience that I would like anyone. Hey, I'm not from here. I did not graduate from here, but I did it. You speak English, you have an advantage actually in the exam. Like, it's your first language. It doesn't take you another 30 seconds or 40 seconds to understand or go through it. And determination, it's you stay motivated. I had a goal. I actually have this is 2021 paper and pencil and CES.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started it from there. I got all the way. Uh, my son I took two paper and pencil and three uh, CBT. Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
yep.
Well, Hadi, there's a lot to unpack there in your journey. I'm curious if we could rewind a little bit. So, being international, you come here, you had to navigate the process with the NCES, I'm assuming.
Uh-huh.
And so you started working with them, you got approval on your education requirements. Did you have to take the FE exam?
Yes,
Or, okay, so you took the FE exam.
I did.
Was I'm assuming that was a struggle too, or was that easier
Uh,
for you, or how did that go?
I think I took it because at work they were looking at the PEFE more than they're looking the masters in a way. So it was a personal thing. I was like, "What's the FE, Lordly?"
Ooh.
So I went there and watched your videos. I think you again. The beginning was like, had people done it before? And the algorithm when you type or say something, start popping up in YouTube, and your videos were all over the place. It's like, hey, this is what you do. This is what you do. This is what you do. And I'm like, oh my God, like it is a big thing. So I think what I learned, I took, by the way, all the courses. You have to be fast. You don't have to be thorough through the understanding it because you're doing a lot and you have time. So it's about being fast. Some questions were like so straight, like, oh my God, did really they ask this question? It's like, I still remember, um, what's a capacity of 100,000 gallon tank? And they give you the answers in cubic feet. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the only question, really. It's unit conversion. So that was, like it was fast. I was like, and it was CBT. Uh, I still,
Interesting.
yeah, I had the manual and I was going through, and I'm like, yeah, this is here, this is here, this is there. I get to know the manual. It's not big manual, by the way. And I was like, I can do that. Is that what Americans are saying? FEMPE? Let me hit it. Uh, I can share with you, like I scheduled it in 2017, did not take it. I had some major issues with my life, as far as personal things, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus. I started 2019, my son's birthday, 19/12, 2019. I got my result and I passed my FE, and I'm
Wow.
like, I'm gonna
So
go
that
ahead.
one just one time.
Yes, I scheduled the first time, and it says here no show, so I did not show up to the exam, because
Oh,
it was
okay.
like, I did study and everything, and again it was some major issues in my life, and I was like, I couldn't, and I didn't know it's gonna show up. I was like, oh my God, did I do something wrong? People gonna see that I didn't show, but again that was unseen event, and when I went the second time. Um, just went there. It was pretty smooth. Require a lot of fast. Just get fast with solving the material. Um, there is couple. I think there's couple on YouTube. Michelle, is it? Isaac Waite. Isaac Waite, and those guys like from
Oh, okay.
like these, they have some really good videos
There's
on.
some great videos on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
tons of good stuff.
yeah, like, again, when you have the books, like your books were thorough, like you go through them, and and all the references, I have them all the one you listed in PE. I just had everything,
Mhm.
but now it's the technique. And it's like, yes, you have the book, how you gonna use it? That's what I learned.
That's true.
So that was the FE portion of it.
Well, it sounds like, I mean, you're giving away a lot of great tips here for people that are studying in general. and internationally. But I'm hearing write the problem down, especially if you struggle with English. Like write it down, and you're like the way you understand it and solve it. It sounds like you got some exercise in. Exercising helped you clear your mind, think about things, reason things out. And then it sounds like, I mean, personally, like your life needs to be um in order, I think probably to focus on FE or PE exams. Like get things in order in your life to be able to sit down and focus on those big exams. Does that summarize kind of the tips so far?
Like I don't like anyone else. Like I mean, similar wise, they don't have my life. I don't have their lives. What you just described it is like you have to say, okay, I have my own struggle, my language, but I have in the back of my mind, I need to pass. I found that we share a common thing. Every FEPE taker, you need to practice. You need to practice, practice, practice. And I was like asking myself, what's a practice? I have the question, and I was reading the question. And the last time I took the PE exam is really when I was, what could they ask me different in this question? What number would I take? Or what things could they reference the manual from? And it was just, an eye opener. I was like, oh my God, this question really, you can have 5 or 6 a question. And especially the 6-minute solution, for example, on the PE exam, they have very complicated problems. I mean, like, I don't expect any of them to come. But when you look at the question, I was like, how would they ask me? Would they start from this, give you all this information, and then, hey, this equation is in the manual. It will be there. And I think that's what I said in my comments. If it's in the manual, it's in the exam. And it is going to be in the exam. So, yeah, again, organize your time, focus, and get a goal. If you're married, that's a challenge with like I know some guys struggle with their families, like they did not pass. Uh, uh, God bless me with a lovely wife. She understood. Can you imagine 5 years from paper and pencil? I'm taking all this time, all this money, all this
Right.
investment, and they're like a smile from her was like, I was like struggling, like, oh my God. And I go back, she take the kids out, she do all these things. And I'm like, I don't know how to, when I pass, I was like, I don't know how to reward you. I was like, I'm going to make you take the PE exam. She's an engineer also, by the way. So I'm like, that's going to be my gift for you. I was like, no, thanks. I'm good. One PE is enough in the house.
That's great. Oh my gosh. Well, I think that's another great tip is you got to have good support. Whether it's before our conversation, you mentioned you found me on YouTube, kind of in the back of your mind, motivating you. Your wife is there taking care of kids. Like you got to have that support system there to really tackle this. And really, when you're done with it, it will be a benefit not only to you but to your whole family. So
True.
I applaud you for doing all that.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice for sure. What tips would you have for people that are repeating the exam? You mentioned you've taken this quite a few times. What would you tell somebody that's repeating it over and over? They're feeling discouraged. They may not even want to tell anybody anymore. They're even taking the exam. They don't want to tell coworkers that like that. What do you tell those people?
Uh, I would say don't give up. Like again, I came from totally different country. English is not my first language, and I found it's a personal challenge. I got these 2 letters in my P and E. I was like, it's you and me now. It was like either you pass or I pass. I took it from that concept. Never quit. Yes, it's a very, it's not a, it's not an impossible exam. It's a hard exam. This is where your true willing. Consider this like an engineering problem, a project you have. How would I tackle this? How would I do this? And my advice is use AI. I downloaded the diagnosis report from NCES. I have five. I sat and I went to ChatGPT. I was like, okay. And I was talking like I talked to a friend. Hey, I took mine 5 times. This is my diagnosis report. What's wrong? And I was amazed. I was like, you struggling with this area. You're doing this. So it gave me a good analysis like, oh, I'm struggling on these. I thought I was
Yeah, the AI systems are amazing. They can really help you,
this,
especially if you know what to ask. They can help you a lot.
it's I think it's a very, very useful tool for engineers. And I used it as like, okay, wow, that makes sense. Okay, give me a schedule, show me a schedule. I was talking like, hey, I work 4 10s, I have this commitment. I'm a soccer coach and I play soccer also. I was like, I need to, not do these. I
Mm.
need to stay engaged. I used it. I used the tool really good, uh, and I took it personal. I don't need it in my job. Actually, I did not get any even reimbursement, from my job, and I'm like, there's PEs in my area, which money wise, I make more than them because I have more years of experience working with the government stuff. But the line is like, now I can speak your language. I have those 2 letters in front of my email, like Hadi Al Azzawi, PE. It's a big difference. Uh, it's a big addition to your life. It's 2 powerful letters. It shows your dedication. It shows that you're willing to learn. It's a challenge. I 5 times, 5, 8. Like all this money, all these courses, all the struggle. Just don't give up. If I pass it, you can pass it. I use one of the guy's comments. If he said, if I pass it, you can pass it. Yes, it's challenging. It's not impossible. I can share, like I told the guys actually two guys were reaching out, say, hey, what did you do? And I was like, you know what? I write all the questions. I got all the questions in a PDF format. Everything I got. I think I purchased your course a week before. It was a lot of conceptual questions, and I walked through it like I flew through it. I was like, that's was 100 question, I think, or something, and I solved them all.
Mhm.
But I get everything. I put everything. I didn't care the source. I was like, if it's there, and I get to know the manual. I mean, I spent time in the manual, like read it. And when I say read it, is like open in PDF, memorize couple words, and I'll share with you. It literally happened. I was going through. Everybody know the rational formula. Everybody know it's there. You don't have to memorize those. But if you go a little bit deep, there is some other equations. It's like, why do they have these here? That's the question I was like, why do they have I think it was missing data. One of them was like missing data for analysis for hydrology. And it's a formula that you use if you have a missing data, then you can go and use the equation. The question is in the 6 minute solution. So I looked at it, as like, oh, this is here. And it's two, right? The question is so long, and probably it's four lines. You know where to put it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like, they might ask these questions. So I was like getting familiar. I was like, I know this question, at least I do it. And in the exam, question was, there is a concentration of a certain material in the water. What would be the concentration in the fish tissue? I was like, what? What?
Hmm.
There is nothing. And I'm like, come on, come on. And I just remember, like, they said bio concentration. I typed in the bioconcentration. It's one line. It's one line formula. Everything is there. There was 1 milligram to microgram, which is a common, they make you, it's microgram and it's milligram. You do one conversion, apply the formula, and that question is there. By the way, they give you what they call the wrong option. It's there. So when you type in, never do conversion. But again, get familiar with the manual, digest it in any section to quota resources.
How did you get to know the codes and standards that are required for the exam? How would you tackle those, or what tips would you give for that?
So they tell you like the 10 state standard for water and wastewater, and the 10 state standard for drinking water. I downloaded them and I went through them just reading. I was reading at work sometimes. My first work at Lam Weston, we did a full recycle system. Basically, we did processing potatoes. We process potatoes, so we recycle the whole entire system. Whatever we use in a production, we send it back. We go through primary clarifier, secondary biogas, anaerobic digestion, generate the biogas, and then send it to nanofiltration, then RO system. And I was like overseeing the whole designed by a firm, a company in Idaho. And the drinking water we had, or the quality of the water we process, is better than the quality of water we were using. But what they say, if you claim that's a drinking water, EPA and everybody else gonna come and say, hey, we want to test this. So it's like, no, we're just gonna use it for process. So it's safe to be used for processing. So I get to know all of these by, from work. What your discharge limits, what temperature and everything. When you read the code, makes sense. And again, those are easy reads. It's very boring, but again, it's your exam, right? You have
You
to go
got to,
there.
right?
Yeah, you got to. Very tricky.
A lot of people hate the wastewater problems when they take water resources as their depth exam. So, would you have any tips around that? How to prepare for wastewater type problems?
I do. So again, if it's in the manual, because out they're gonna ask you, get all the equation there, and that's what I did. If you have Adobe Pro, you can cut and paste certain pages. And what I did, I printed out all of these. And I was like, okay, this is all the question here. You had 3 books, which I purchased all. The Goswami, right? Is it? I'm saying that right?
Yeah, we recommended some of those other
This
resources. So,
is,
Goswami, yep,
Goswami is a top notch. Has questions. The style
great problems, huh?
is there. It's and what I did is I read all the depth section. So I finished the 2 breadth and all the depth section: construction, transportation, geotechnical. I did not do
Wow.
structural this time because there is no more structure in the civil or the water resources. They eliminated that one.
Yep.
But I went to the depth question in Goswami, and I didn't study all of them, but I studied the stuff that related to water and wastewater. They have some question about culverts, about question about the rational formula, hydrology, culvert design in many tips, vertical curves. Like those things were all over the exam, especially the site walk. So I did. And again, I recommended us like go there. If you see that question similar to a question that you are studying, expect it to be the exam. And when I talk, I think the best course. Can I share the courses that I took, or
You can talk about whatever you want. I won't. I don't
Yeah.
gatekeep. We like. I mean, I like other courses. Everyone's got good material.
Yeah.
Right. So
So I
yeah,
think
whatever you got. What
I
helped you?
I'm a member of American Society of Civil Engineers,
Hmm.
and I think I part of it they have a depth section, uh, and I just took it before one of my fifth attempts, and it was they have a really good wastewater topics,
Ah,
and I think again I tried School of PE, I tried your courses, all the courses, the similarities. I think that instructor, which his name is, I texted him. I thanked him for helping me actually. Isaac White is one of them. Isaac White, like his
nice.
courses is unbelievable. But American Society of Civil Engineers, their course helped me a lot,
That's
especially
awesome.
on balancing the equations. You don't know, like they like these, and he has a very good like, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And I'm like, he's not talking about a lot of things that other instructors talk about. He's not going to like
Hmm.
everybody's talking about the common complicated problem. Uh, and you would be amazed. The last try I did it, 42 question in the morning and 38 in the evening, or like 4 and 4. So the first 42 question you can take a break, and then 38 question, which they target the drinking water and wastewater and all other topics. When I started the depth section or these topics, I was done in 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I got hour and a half, and I came back and I was, correcting my stuff, but I didn't struggle with the wastewater stuff. I found these courses pretty legit, pretty good. I highly recommend them. I don't know if I can share it with everybody, but if you listen to the, like the way uh, that what's good about them, Isaac, is like he put the equation, the 10 state standard reference, and the reference handbook. So use like, oh, okay, he's talking about this, and it's in the manual here, and it's in the 10 stated here. Like there's literally question,
Get it
especially
all
with the
right in front of you.
filter backwash. They don't give you any number. If you know where to find it, you'll solve the question. Like it's the rate 4 GPM per square foot. They will not give you that in the exam, but it's in the 10 state standard. And then the surface area, it's all these. So it kind of even help you. It's like, hey, this instructor talk about the 10 state standard. Let me go there. And there's a full design on lagoons. And
That's awesome.
so it was helpful for me it's challenging, but I did wastewater, and I want to go back and kind of also. I think the concept we did with the biogas and water recycle, it's like renewable energy. Cost a lot, but I think in future with the water struggle or water reservations projects, I might have a big an upper hand. Especially I done that before.
Nice. Is there any other resources you would recommend for people studying for this exam? Now that you've kind of, you've taken it a few times, you've gathered a ton of resources, you've tried a bunch of courses. Is there anything you'd particularly recommend outside of what you mentioned already?
You mentioned all these books, so I did try all of them, all the recommendation you got. I got all the books. I have a big library. I don't know where to put the books I have up. Like, I,
Uh,
what I find just because you don't have paper, like they give you an erasable notepad. Uh, it's not a recommendation, but I got one of these. They call Kindle Scribe. You
oh
can
yeah.
down you can download PDF on those. And what I did is I piled all the questions in a PDF, and I put them into I don't know if I can show you this, but like here. So I got books specifically just PE. Put all the questions, It got a pen very similar to the one used in the exam, and I just went ahead and solving questions as I go. That was uh, that was the best thing I learned. Is like piled everything, 6 minute solution, Gusami, and there was another book.
That was an awesome resource that you're showing on how to use that Kindle. So
Uh-huh.
I think that's a great tip for people to use. I think your journey is fascinating, taking it so many times, all the tips, all the resources that you're using. I'm going to make sure that in all of our show notes, we list all of this good information. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and maybe they're struggling with the exam and they wanted some help from you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
You helped me, Isaac. He did not take the exam for me, but your videos, your whatever you're doing, I think is enough to motivate people. So, in any way or shape I can help them, if they reach out to you, I'm part of the group. I reach out to a couple individuals. I'm willing to do anything I can do to help anyone want to pass the PE exam. And I think it's what you're doing is contagious. Like you help people, I want to do the same. That's I want to keep it going. Some people need some motivation, some help, but I'm available. They can reach me on my email, uh, Facebook. I'm part over there. You have my email. If anyone want to reach out, any sources or resources, or probably can help with the wastewater stuff, I'm willing to do so.
Awesome. Hadi, thank you for jumping on and sharing your wisdom with us. I appreciate you doing this. I congratulate you on passing. This is so awesome. I'm excited for your future and what's going on in your world. So thank you for jumping on and sharing this with us.
Anytime.
All right. See you later.
See ya.